Wow, 2 years. 2 years since the Lost Hope concept demo was released. I can't believe it. This was my first original game ever created. It has been 2 years since its release date on this day on October 31st, 2017. Hey everyone, it's Devin of Darkstar Games, and today is a special video celebrating the 2-year anniversary of Lost Hope. I'll be going through my journey from beginning to end of Lost Hope and explain what is coming to the future of this series. So I've stated before in a past video that Silent Hill was my favorite series, and when PT was released on the PlayStation Store, it floored me. When I first played it, I knew it was a teaser for Silent Hills from an article I read in Game Informer, but that still didn't stop me from being blown away by what this small teaser can invoke in a player. The first time I played it, I thought it was terrifying, and when I first got jump scared by Lisa, I immediately shut off my PlayStation. But then I got the courage to try it again, and I actually beat it. Kinda. I got to the final loop and had to look up a walkthrough, but around this time there were only theories on how to beat it. But I finally got to the ending and was shocked that Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro would be working together on it, and having Norman Reedus as a playable character. Such a great concept and an amazing way to bring the game back to its roots. But then Kojima left Konami after a falling out and the game was cancelled, and Konami decided to remove the teaser from the store on April 29th, 2015. Fans were devastated of this act by Konami. Then an abundance of fan games came, recreating the game for PC to give fans what was ripped from them. After this came games that took the concept and improved it, like Visage, Layers of Fear, and the now cancelled Allison Road. And this sea of all the remakes was my game, my first game, Lost Hope concept demo. I wanted to recreate this game as an easy step into the game development scene. Boy, was I wrong. I knew from the start I wanted to add differences from the original game, but it wasn't what you see in the final game. The final version wasn't even running on Unreal Engine, it got started on Unity. Starting around May of 2015, I decided to remake this game in Unity, because this was the only game engine I had and that could run on my old PC without completely crashing it. When starting it, I had no prior knowledge of game design and thought it wouldn't be so hard to recreate it. Then I got the basic shape of the hallway. It was awful. No, it didn't look like this. It looked like this. A messy, thrown together level made of basic cubes and wasn't even finished. I didn't even know how to program a door, so there were just holes in the wall for when I learned how to program. Yeah, I knew that little. This right here is what remains of the unfinished build on Unity. Except there was another level I started developing while making the hallway. This small section of road is what started as this. This full town right here started as this. I wanted the players to walk into the town from a long forest, and that's where the game would end. Almost like how the final version had the player waking up near a car crash, the same would apply here. The player wakes up near their car and have to travel into town, except they wouldn't already be in town, it would be in the woods, and the player would have to reach the town. And that is where it would end. But it went no further than this. Also, I didn't know how to implement fog into Unity, and I had no money to buy assets, so there was this dust effect that came free. It was terrible and made my PC lag when I played the scene. It still lags it to this day on my modern PC. After trying to figure out how I could make a game without code, I stumbled upon the Unreal Engine. When seeing what this game engine could do and seeing that it was used by professional game studios, I was hooked. I began to remake all of what I already made in Unity, well, what very little I had in Unity, to Unreal. This is where I began to realize that level design is a tedious task. Here's the only thing that remains of an early version of the hallway before it was transformed into this, the final build. I began to replay PT over and over, getting screenshots and references of the hallway. I even wrote down what each loop did. These right here are the notes that I took while working on it. Lots of research went into working on this remake. Mostly it was copy and pasting of the same hallway. I didn't know how to program a looping mechanism like in PT, but I found a workaround that ran great. Even for the jump scares, there were separate rooms for the cameras. I worked night and day trying to get this right. I would make a checklist of what was left because there was so much. I was trying to take it all on at once. And since this was my first attempt at making a level, there are spots that don't look right because I basically threw it together and tried to fix it later, but it didn't turn out so great. I used lots of free assets that I found online, but I did create the character models myself, even though they don't look that great. But it was my first attempt at making a game, and I didn't have any 3D modeling skills like I do now. Even the animations were basic. There are even cut animations, like this one right here of Lisa walking towards the player and walking away. These are going to be used, but I couldn't get them to work in Unreal, so I decided to cut them. When I got done with the overall level design, I began work on the events, and this is where I decided not to include the cutscene that was seen at the end of PT, but just to have it never end. When making the ending, I knew I wanted to have multiple endings from the start, which I kept in the final version, but in the original release of the game, there was only two, a death ending and an endless ending. These endings had no meaning and they were just placeholders, except for the death ending. That was meant as a main ending, but I realized it needed an end. I wasn't the best at making cutscenes in Unreal, so I decided the final version would include a town to walk around in, but not have the cutscene. This was very early in development, and I didn't know where to go with the town or how it would even look. But as I worked towards the first finished product, I kept getting ideas to tease for Lost Hope in the future. These are prevalent in the final version with the shotgun, the bullets, and the axe. I wanted to tease that the final game would have combat without blatantly saying it. Lots of the basic events that are in Lost Hope were from tutorials that I just found online, like the door animation, the flashlight. I used lots of videos to create most of the events that you see. When the first version of Lost Hope hit the scenes, it was not finished, even though it was labeled as version 1.0, but I made it a note that the final version and the most complete version would be labeled as 1.1. Every version before that would be a revision of the 1.0 version. When I released the first version of Lost Hope on October 31st, 2017, I didn't really expect it to get much traction, but it did. I was surprised that anyone wanted to play my game. I did work hard on it, but I'm a perfectionist and saw many flaws in it. When seeing that a handful of people downloaded it in the first day, I was so ecstatic. Then the numbers started growing on all sites that I released it on, IndieDB, Itch.io, GameJolt, and when the numbers were growing on total downloads, I wondered if someone played it on YouTube. So I went there and started searching, and I was surprised. There's one video by Media Games Guide. On November 27th, 2017, this video was released. This was the very first Let's Play of my game. Even though the second ending was found and the first ending wasn't, it was nice to see anyone playing it. I had a giant smile on my face the entire day and felt like I did something great. After this video, I started seeing more and more videos. Almost every time I searched Lost Hope, there was a new video. Even though most of them weren't in English, it was still fun to watch them get scared by the ambience and the jump scares and the overall dread that the game made people feel. I saw everyone play the version 1.02, which at the time was the best version to play, but I knew they wanted more, so I worked hard on this. I began the final ending. The town. The town I spent months working on. I had a plan of how the level would look and just started building. I used the town in Silent Hills as a basis of what I wanted, but I wanted this to be my own. This was my first attempt to make it something my own creation. I could see the town in my mind and decided to make it a reality. This was the hardest part of the entire development process because of the lighting. When I would place lights in the scene, it would make my desktop lag. I had to find a solution to this so that way the final version wouldn't be so unplayable. Eventually, I just deleted the lights and had a day scene, but it didn't look as good. I wanted the feeling of isolation in a desolate town, so night was the way to go. I finally found a solution that allowed the lights to be in the scene using real-time rendering. It didn't have to be baked into the scene. Even though it started out rough, I think that making the town and seeing it grow was the most fun of this entire journey. This had so much detail put into it that the player couldn't even see. Like these buildings around the corner that the player couldn't see at all. I included it because my vision was different at the creation of the level. I wanted the player to walk around this massive town, but decided that the cutscene would be the best route. This took the most time out of all cutscenes to create because of the fading scenes and the audio that had to play during this process. I wrote down where the player would enter, where exactly the camera would face second by second. I was so proud of myself when I finished this version. Even though there were multiple problems in this version before launch, it was an amazing experience to grow from, to see how much time and effort was needed into create something like this small town. The final version that you see, version 1.1, is the most complete version. And when I saw that some YouTubers that played the old version were revisiting this one, I was happy. Happy to see that people were enjoying my experience. This gave me the confidence to start newer projects and to pursue a career in game design. I want to thank all the people who have downloaded this game and played it either for their own enjoyment or for a video. I will link all the videos of the people that played Lost Hope down below. Without these people, I wouldn't have continued development on Lost Hope. I want to thank everyone again. At the time of writing this, the game is almost at 1,000 downloads. I never thought that a game that I made would even get close to that number. I know it has been some time since Lost Hope's release, and I did start work on a couple new projects. EP01, The Explorer, and Pool Wars. But this is not the end of Lost Hope. I'm currently working on and off on the story of Lost Hope and how the first demo will play out, and as a small teaser, I'm going to announce that the demo is going to be a prologue to the final game. The location in the demo will be at the beginning of the final game, but the characters you play as will be different. Also, one final thing is that I'm currently working on making a VR version of Lost Hope. There are some small tweaks I have to make before it's ready, but just those small tweaks, and I'll be able to release it for Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. More on that coming soon. This is all I can say right now on Lost Hope, but I hope you can understand that I have lots of work to do on this project before it's even close to being finished. I haven't given up on this title, but it will be some time before it gets close to being finished. Again, thank you to all who have supported me through this entire journey, and I hope to make bigger and better projects in the future. If you would like to support me through my journeys, please check the links below. I'll be trying to upload more on my channel soon, and I'll be live streaming on Twitch and Mixer here pretty soon. I want to do more on this channel, and with your support, it will help me work towards those goals like game development, design, devlogs, animations, let's plays, live streams, and more. So please like, subscribe, comment, and check out my links below, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.